Hey guys, it's Jake and Sarah Sawyer. We've got another episode of At Our Kitchen Table. We're sitting at our kitchen table. We've got somebody that's super important to our process. This is Paris. Paris is our closer. She's been our closer for well over probably 6 years. Her predecessor before that was Robin. We closed with Robin for 13 years. And Paris has taken Robin's job. She's been doing an awesome job. I should say taken over since Robin left. We love her. Want to talk about why she's crucial to our process, everything that she does for you. A lot of people don't really know what closing is, what we go through, what we deal with, what you see, kind of the behind the scenes and everything that goes on. We're going to talk title insurance.
Title insurance, abstract, all the fun, boring things that you don't know that goes on behind the scenes generally, because you really most of the time don't need to know because it's just all being handled. But we do get a lot of questions, and we were talking earlier, and I think the number one question that we send all our sellers a seller info sheet that gives us, if you have a current mortgage, so title can order the payoff. That is like the number one question we get. Do I need to call my mortgage company? Do I need to get, what do I need to get? So we send that over to title, and kind of when we send you a file, what does that look like from the beginning to start, and what information do you kind of always need and things like that?
Well, you guys are really good at, number one, getting us contact information and things like their payoff information, which, we will order. And you get the contract, we see, who's paying for what. That's what tells us on the title side of who's, paying for documentary stamps and who's paying for a UCC search. And it's all laid out in the contract. So that's how we get who's paying for what.
In your opinion, because I always feel like in a selling side, it gets more complicated, because if we have a title issue, is what we always say. If we have a title issue, Oklahoma is one of the, what'd you say?
Yes, so we're one of 2 states left in the U.S. that still does abstracting.
And what is an abstract?
So we're a little behind. An abstract is just a big book binded together full of mortgages, deeds, releases, pretty much anything that's been filed on the property since statehood.
When people ask me what an abstract is, I always compare it to a car title. So when you buy your car, you get a title with your car. This is a lot more in depth, but very similar. So it transfers with the property, and it goes back everybody that's bought, all the mortgages that were filed, like she said, when they've been released, making sure there's no liens or anything like that.
Okay, so where is an abstract? I guess that's another question. What is an abstract, and where is it?
Do I
have one?
Yeah, where do I find my abstract?
Well, I hope you don't have it, because that's where we run into problems. Most of the time people don't have their abstract. It's, in a storage facility, stored for free. So us as a title company, when you send us the contract, our first thing is to contact an abstractor and have it located. Typically that's where we'll see a delay, if there is going to be one, because if the property hasn't been sold in 40 years, it's where is this abstract? Most of the time, if it's been 40 years, they have their abstract and nobody knows it. So we're calling you saying, hey, we can't locate this. But typically it's with an abstractor. We can get it located quickly, and they get it updated and then sent to the buyer's title company to be read.
So why is it important to not have your abstract, and what happens if you can't find it or you don't have one?
So if you lose it or misplace it, or something happens to it, then you as a seller have to pay to have it replaced, which is almost double the cost of what it is to update. Granted, counties are different, county to county, the price, but you're looking at Tulsa County is $500 to update, versus if you had it built, it's like $1,000.
Okay.
I've always thought it was more than that. I've heard it was like $2,000 or $3,000, because they had all the research that goes into building one.
So I don't know if it's a new thing now because they have better resources.
Yeah,
I really don't know. It's been just about $1,000.
So when you talk about building it, to make that make sense, they go in and they basically research who bought, who sold, back into, if your home is older, in 20s, 30s, 50s, 60s, and they have to find out that it doesn't have any existing liens, everything's been released, and the property is free and clear for you to purchase. And that's when we're talking about liens and things like that, a big question that we get is title insurance.
Yep.
What is title insurance? Do I have an owner's policy? If you are one of our past clients and we've sold you a property before and we are selling your property, you absolutely have it, because I tell everybody to buy it.
Yeah. Because of that, if there is an issue, and let's say we're 10 days out of closing date and we're like, crap, we have a title requirement, and we literally are dealing with this right now. We have a title requirement. It was from a previous homeowner. It doesn't, the issue doesn't have to be currently with you as a seller or you as a buyer. It could be from 3 owners ago.
Correct. Your policy won't help you if you did anything to defect the property.
Exactly.
It's for anyone previously
Yes.
before you. That's when it comes in to save you.
Yes.
Not every time, but
Yeah.
a lot of times we can get by and scoot on with closing because the seller has an owner's title insurance policy.
So what that means is if there's any liens that are existing and it didn't get cleared up, that title insurance policy, which is nominal, is like $350,
Yeah.
I think, usually.
It just depends on the sales price. That's where
It's not crazy though.
And it's a one-time fee. That's what people get scared of when you say insurance. You're thinking,
yeah.
I'm making payments, the same payment all
Yeah.
the time or once a year or whatever. It's just one payment and it covers you from anything before you bought the property. I get a lot of clients that will tell, like you, the realtor, that they get listed and they say, yeah, there's gonna be no title issues on the property. You know, I've owned it for the past, 25 years and I'm a second owner. I get this a lot where I wanna do a 2-week closing, there's gonna be no title issues, so we're closing this date. And the problem that we see is, turns out they deeded it to their cousin and they deeded it back to them, and then they think that because they kept it in the family that everything's okay. Yes, you were the only owner, but you filed defective deeds, and now the cousin that you deeded to has passed, and it was defective, and when it was deeded back, like, it wasn't deeded right, so that's where we see those title issues.
Yeah.
And then sellers get very frustrated because they don't understand that, well, I was the only owner, I mean, we're a family, and that's where we see a lot of issues.
Well, and that's a whole nother, that could be a whole nother topic. When you're dealing with titles and deeds, you absolutely can just go down to your county courthouse and you can file away whatever you want. But unfortunately, when things come up and you're needing to deal with maybe a family issue, there's been a death in the family and you're needing to correct some things or whatever the case is, and you go down there and you're like, okay, we're ready, just like Paris is saying, we're ready to close. Well, then it becomes a mess and it's more costly for you. It may have not been anything upfront charge. If you guys ever have questions like that and you guys have, family stuff going on that, mom and dad passed away and we don't know what to do with this, what is probate, all of those things, we will set you up with a title company and let them handle it, because they know it's gonna save you in time, energy, and effort, and money to just have someone who knows what they're doing handle that stuff.
That way when you go to sell, you're not hitting
with like
giant time walls that are gonna take you forever to get wrapped up. When what they charge to close a property is nominal as well. $500, and that's your closing fee. And so when it comes down to that and you think, well, I can go down there and do that, well, we know so many nightmare stories where it would just be easier to let the professionals handle it, so you don't run into a snag later on when you go to sell. I think we've packed this full of information. I hope you guys found it useful. Please click the subscribe button. Like, follow, ask any questions, any topics that you'd like to see anytime later on. Call, text, whatever we can do for you guys. Y'all have a great day.